All right, get ready to dive deep. Today, we're all about performance art interviews, like how to totally nail them.
It's funny, right?
Yeah.
To be a performance artist, you need these killer skills. And guess what? Those same skills are going to help you rock that interview.
Oh, I totally see that. So we've got these awesome guides from RoleCatcher, a career guide, and an interview guide, and they're like packed with good stuff.
Yeah, they really help break down what this career is all about.
For sure. Okay, so let's jump right in. Like, imagine you're in the interview, and they hit you with this question. Describe a time a performance didn't go as planned. How did you handle it?
Yeah.
I feel like every artist has at least one of those stories.
Oh, totally. I mean, things happen, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But here's the thing. They don't want to hear about perfection. They want to know you can handle the unexpected.
So it's all about showing you're, like, resilient.
Exactly. You got to walk them through what happened, but really focus on what you did. How'd you adapt? Did you, problem solve on the spot? Did you turn that mess up into something totally cool and artistic?
Oh, I love that. So they're basically looking for someone who can think on their feet.
You got it.
Okay.
And that's essential in live performance, right?
Totally. Okay, so let's say you nailed that question. What's next?
Well, be ready for follow-ups. They might ask, what did you learn from that? Or how would you approach it differently now?
Oh, that's a good point.
It's your chance to prove you're always growing, always learning as an artist.
Okay, I like that. It's like showing that growth mindset. All right, next question. How do you incorporate different artistic mediums into your performances? This one feels like so open-ended,
Right. It's where you get to show off your creativity.
And knowledge, right?
Right.
Like all that fine art stuff they talk about in the career guide.
Exactly. But don't just list mediums like, I've used paint and video, tell a story, make it exciting. Did you project videos onto dancers? Or did you create an installation with stuff you found on the street?
Ooh, that's cool.
Right. The why is just as important as the what. They want to know you have a reason for choosing those mediums.
Gotcha. So it's not just about being versatile. It's about having an artistic vision.
Exactly. And this is also a great spot to mention your artistic philosophy, your unique take on art and performance.
Okay, next up, audience participation. The interview guide asks, what role does audience participation play in your performances?
Ooh, that's a good one. This is where you define your relationship with the audience.
Right, because some performance artists are all about that interaction, while others prefer a more traditional approach.
Totally. If you're into participation, talk about your techniques. Like prompts or how you guide the interaction.
And if you prefer a more distanced approach, you got to explain why that works for your art.
Exactly. You're basically performing in the interview, too, creating an experience for the interviewer.
Makes sense. All right, next question. Can you describe a performance that you are particularly proud of? This feels like a chance to, really shine.
It is. This is where you get to relive that performance, bring it to life for them. Talk about the emotions, the challenges, how the audience reacted.
Ooh, so paint a picture with words.
Exactly. And it's your moment to prove you're not just skilled, but that you genuinely love what you do.
Passion. Speaking of which, the career guide mentions continuous learning as super important. Can you, work that in here?
For sure. You can talk about workshops or master classes you've taken to show you're always pushing yourself to get better.
Oh, I see, yeah. That ties in perfectly with the next question. How do you continually challenge yourself and push the boundaries of performance art?
Right. It's all about showing you're not afraid to experiment, to step outside your comfort zone.
And that you're, a lifelong learner.
Exactly. Talk about, unconventional materials you've used or collaborations that pushed you to try new things. It all goes back to that growth mindset.
I'm really digging that concept. All right, so we've talked about challenges, vision, and pushing boundaries. But what about the not-so-fun stuff? The interview guide also asks, how do you handle criticism or negative feedback about your performances?
Yeah, that's a tough one, but super important. It shows how you deal with, professional feedback.
Because it happens to everyone, right?
Oh, absolutely. They want to see that you can take constructive criticism and, use it to grow. So you've got to explain your process. Do you, talk to mentors you trust? Do you analyze recordings of your performances?
It's about showing that you're not just, ignoring the feedback, but that you're actually using it to get better.
Exactly. You're tough, but you're also reflective.
Okay, this is where I think RoleCatcher's AI can be a total lifesaver.
Oh, yeah.
It can, analyze job descriptions and give you feedback on your answers that's super specific to the role.
It's like having a personal coach for your interviews.
Exactly. Okay, let's keep going. This one's interesting. How do you prepare for a performance? Like a sneak peek into your process.
Totally. Think about everything that goes into it, physically, mentally, emotionally. Do you have any pre-show rituals?
Interesting.
How do you manage your energy before a big performance? They want to see that you're dedicated, that you have a whole approach to your art.
Right, because it's not just about, like, knowing your lines or steps. It's about the whole journey.
Exactly. So share those techniques, whether it's warming up your voice, dealing with stage fright, or staying focused in the moment. Every little detail shows your commitment to excellence.
Love it. Okay, this next one feels personal. How did you first become interested in performance art? It's like they want to hear your origin story.
They do. Was there like a performance that blew your mind, a mentor who inspired you, or maybe like a life experience that shaped your perspective?
Yeah, it's your chance to, like, be real and let your enthusiasm show.
Exactly. Remember, they're looking for that spark, that genuine passion that drives you as an artist.
Okay, next question is all about skills. The interview guide asks, what are some of the key skills required to be a successful performance artist? It feels like a chance to, like, list all the things you're good at.
It is. And you can definitely use this to highlight those qualities they mentioned in the career guide, like creativity, adaptability, stamina, communication skills, and all that fine arts knowledge.
Yeah, for sure.
But don't just list them. You got to back it up with examples from your past performances.
Oh, good point. Show, don't tell.
Right. And also, think about the specific job. Do they want someone who can improvise, someone who works independently? Tailor your answer to those needs.
So basically, show your skills, A and D, how they fit this specific role.
You got it. Every answer is a chance to show you understand performance art and how it applies to a professional setting.
Okay, we've talked about handling challenges, showcasing your vision, and pushing boundaries, but let's go back to that question about setbacks. Can you describe a time a performance didn't go as planned? How did you handle the situation? This one feels like it's testing your problem-solving skills and, like, how you handle pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, everyone makes mistakes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's what you do afterward that matters. So choose an example where you had to adapt to something unexpected, where you found a solution on the spot and stayed positive.
So, like, show them you can handle a crisis.
Exactly. Stay calm, be resourceful, and focus on the positive. What did you learn from that mess up? How did it make you a better performer? This is another chance to show off that growth mindset from the career guide.
Okay, I'm seeing a theme here. Resilience, learning from mistakes, turning setbacks into opportunities. All right, let's move on. The next question is all about creativity. How do you incorporate different artistic mediums into your performances? I feel like this is where you can really get imaginative.
It is. This is where you show you're not afraid to mix things up.
Oh, like blend different art forms.
Yeah, exactly. Have you combined dance with video projections or brought music into a theater piece?
Oh.
Talk about the challenges and the rewards of working across different disciplines.
So it's not just about listing mediums, it's about showing your experience and the thought process behind your choices.
Exactly. Explain how you work with artists from other fields and how you make all those different mediums work together to create one awesome experience. This is where you can really showcase your fine arts knowledge and your ability to collaborate.
Okay, we've covered a ton already. From dealing with challenges to showcasing your vision and your creative process. Let's take a break here, and I'll pick up our deep dive in the next part.
All right, so we left off talking about incorporating different mediums. Now let's dive into your relationship with the audience. The interview guide asks, what role does audience participation play in your performances?
Yeah, that's a big one. It's about defining how you see the audience, right? Are they just watching? Or are they part of the experience?
Exactly. And, it's all about intention. You got to understand how your choices affect the audience. So, if you encourage participation, talk about how you do it. Do you use prompts or is it more improvised?
And if you prefer a more, hands-off approach, explain why that fits your artistic goals. It's all about the why, just like with choosing mediums.
Totally. And think about it, even in the interview, you're engaging with the interviewer, right? You're reading their reactions, you're tailoring your answers. It's subtle, but it's a performance.
I never thought of it that way. Okay, next question. Can you describe a performance that you are particularly proud of? This one feels like a chance to tell a story,
It is. Pick a performance that really means something to you and walk them through it. What inspired you? What challenges did you face? How did the audience react? Don't just describe it. Make them feel it.
Ooh, yeah. Make it like a mini performance right there in the interview.
Exactly. And it shows them that you're not just skilled, you're passionate about your art.
Speaking of passion, remember how the career guide talked about continuous learning? Can we tie that in here?
Absolutely. You can mention workshops or master classes you've taken to, refine your skills and push those boundaries.
So it's not just about bragging about a past performance. It's also about showing you're committed to growing as an artist.
Exactly. Which leads perfectly into the next question. How do you continually challenge yourself and push the boundaries of performance art?
This one feels like it's all about showing you're not afraid to try new things, you know, to experiment.
Totally. Talk about your learning process, your willingness to try new things. Do you collaborate with artists from other fields? Do you research new trends?
Yeah, it's about showing you're always pushing yourself, always learning.
And even those experiments that, don't quite work out, they can be valuable learning experiences too. It's all part of that growth mindset.
Okay, let's get real for a second. The interview guide asks, how do you handle criticism or negative feedback about your performances? I feel like that's got to be tough.
It is, but it's something every artist has to deal with.
Right. And they're not looking for someone who's never been criticized. They want to see how you handle it.
Exactly. So talk about how you process feedback, good and bad. Can you separate constructive criticism from personal attacks?
Yeah, it's about being open to feedback, but also staying true to yourself.
Right. And, this is another spot where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful. It can analyze your answers to this kind of question and help you strike that balance.
So it's like having a virtual mentor, helping you craft the perfect response.
Exactly. Okay, next question. This one's about the business side of things. How do you manage the financial aspects of your career, such as budgeting, funding, and self-promotion?
Oof, that's a big one. I feel like a lot of artists struggle with this part.
It's definitely important, though. They want to see that you're resourceful, you're organized, you can handle your finances.
So talk about budgeting, grant writing, fundraising, even self-promotion. Have you successfully funded your own projects? Do you have a system for tracking your money?
Right. It shows you understand that being an artist is also about being an entrepreneur. And don't be shy about mentioning any resources or strategies you've used, like workshops or online tools, even RoleCatcher's AI, which can help you identify potential funding sources.
Okay, next up, inspiration. The interview guide asks, who are some of the performance artists who have inspired you, and how has their work influenced your own?
This is your chance to show off your knowledge of performance art history, but also to trace your own artistic lineage.
Ooh, I like that. Artistic lineage.
Right. Who are the artists that shaped your vision? But don't just name drop. Explain how their work has influenced your approach to performance, your themes, your use of space, how you interact with the audience.
It's like showing them where you fit into the bigger picture of performance art.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to mention artists who are outside the mainstream. It shows you're curious, you're exploring different influences.
Okay, time to look ahead. The interview guide asks, what are your long-term goals as a performance artist? And how do you see your work evolving in the future? This one feels like a chance to dream big.
It is. This is where you share your vision for the future, your artistic ambitions. Do you want to create massive installations, collaborate with famous artists, tour the world?
Yeah, paint a picture of the artist you want to become.
Exactly. Be specific, be bold, and let your passion shine through.
And remember, even if your goals seem super ambitious, don't hold back. It shows them you're driven, you have a clear vision, and you're serious about pushing the boundaries of performance art. Okay, next question. Have you performed in non-traditional venues, such as public spaces or outdoor settings? If so, how did you adapt your performance to the specific challenges and opportunities of those environments? This one feels like it's all about being adaptable, right?
It is. Performing outside of a traditional theater or gallery can be tricky. You got to think on your feet, be creative with limited resources, and engage with the audience in new ways.
So it's a chance to show you can handle the unexpected, that you can turn challenges into creative opportunities.
Right. Give them specific examples of performances you've done in unconventional spaces. How did you adapt your staging, your lighting, your sound? Did you interact with the audience differently? Did you use the environment as part of the performance?
It's all about showing you're not afraid to step outside that comfort zone.
Exactly. And this is another spot where RoleCatcher's AI can come in handy. It can, analyze those job descriptions and help you highlight the experience that's most relevant to the role.
Oh, that's smart. Using every tool you have to make sure your answers are on point.
Exactly. Okay, next up, audience connection. How do you consider the audience's perspective when creating and performing your work? This one's all about empathy, right?
Yeah, like understanding how your art affects people. Because performance art is about communication, and the audience is a huge part of that. It's not just about expressing yourself. It's about creating an experience that resonates with the people watching.
Exactly. So talk about how you think about your audience, their demographics, their cultural background, their expectations. You want to provoke them, entertain them, educate them, inspire them. How do you tailor your performance to achieve that?
It shows the interviewer that you're not just performing in a vacuum, you're actually thinking about the people experiencing your art.
Exactly. And this ties back to that social perceptiveness idea from the career guide. Being able to read an audience, understand their reactions, and adapt. That's super valuable on stage and in an interview.
Okay, time for another curveball. The interview guide asks, can you describe a time when you had to improvise during a performance? What happened and how did you handle it?
Oh man, improvisation. That's got to be stressful. It can be, but it's also a chance to show off your quick thinking, your problem-solving skills, your ability to, stay calm under pressure. Live performance is unpredictable. Things happen. So choose an example where you had to adapt on the spot, where you turned a potential disaster into something amazing.
Make it like a how-to guide for handling performance mishaps.
Exactly. And it shows that adaptability they mentioned in the career guide. It's essential in any performance-based field.
Okay, on to artistic vision.
Yeah.
How would you describe your artistic style? And what are the key themes or ideas that you explore in your work? This feels like the core of who you are as an artist.
It is. Don't be afraid to get descriptive here. What makes your work unique? What are the themes, the messages, the driving forces behind your choices?
Yeah, like capture the essence of your artistic identity.
Exactly. And think about how your style connects to the job you're interviewing for. Does it align with the organization's mission or aesthetic? How will your work contribute to their programs?
So it's about showing them how your vision fits with their vision.
Precisely. Okay, next up you can read. What do you love most about being a performance artist? This one's all about passion.
Yeah, let your enthusiasm shine through. Share what lights you up, what keeps you going.
Exactly. Be genuine, be vulnerable. Talk about those experiences that shaped you, that made you fall in love with performance art.
Let them see the heart and soul behind your work.
Right. And this is a good spot to bring in those skills from the career guide again, like active listening and social perceptiveness. Passion is contagious, and if you can convey your love for performance art, it'll make a lasting impression. Okay, on to professional development. The interview guide asks, how do you stay up to date on the latest trends and innovations in performance art?
This one shows you're a lifelong learner.
Exactly. So
Okay.
talk about the conferences, festivals, workshops, online resources you use. Do you follow artists on social media? Do you read industry publications? Share specific examples of how you've incorporated new trends or technologies into your work.
Yeah, show them you're not just stuck in the past, you're evolving with the art form.
Exactly. And you can tie it back to the job, too. How will your knowledge of the latest trends benefit this organization?
Right, showing them how your commitment to staying current aligns with their goals.
Exactly. And, RoleCatcher's AI can help with this, too. By analyzing job descriptions and identifying keywords related to those trends, it can help you tailor your answers to really hit the mark.
Okay, on to collaboration. Have you ever collaborated with artists from different disciplines? If so, what were some of the challenges and rewards of those collaborations? Collaboration seems so important these days.
It is, especially in the art world. They want to see that you can work well with others.
So talk about those interdisciplinary projects you've been a part of. What were the goals? How did you handle creative differences? What were the toughest parts? And what were the most rewarding moments?
Exactly. And don't be afraid to talk about those challenges, too. It shows you can learn from them, that you're willing to work through tough situations to find creative solutions.
Okay, back to feedback. The interview guide asks, how do you respond to criticism of your work, both positive and negative? This one's tough, but important.
It is. They want to see that you can handle both praise and criticism professionally. So talk about how you process feedback. How do you identify what's constructive and use it to improve? And how do you avoid letting negativity get you down?
It's about showing that you're open to feedback, but you also have a strong sense of self.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you fine-tune your response here, too, helping you strike that balance between being open and staying true to your artistic vision. Okay, next up, pushing boundaries. The interview guy asks, how do you push the boundaries of traditional performance art in your work? This feels like a chance to get really innovative.
Yeah, like how do you break the rules?
Exactly. Do you use technology in unexpected ways? Do you experiment with new performance spaces or new ways to interact with the audience? Do you challenge the traditional ideas of storytelling or theater?
It's about showing that you're not afraid to take risks, to explore new possibilities.
Right. Give specific examples of how you've pushed those boundaries. What inspired you? What risks did you take? How did people react?
Show them that you're a pioneer, that you're helping to shape the future of performance art.
Exactly. And this is a great opportunity to mention current trends, too. Show them you know what's happening in the field, that you're part of that evolution. Okay, time to get deep. What do you hope audiences will take away from your performances?
This is about your artistic intentions.
You're like, what impact do you hope to have on people?
Right. Talk about the themes you explore, the questions you raise, the emotions you evoke. Do you want to inspire hope, challenge people's thinking, create a sense of connection?
It's about sharing your vision for how your art can make a difference.
Exactly. And you could tie it back to the organization, too. How does your vision align with their values? How will your work contribute to their mission?
Okay, let's shift gears to the creative process. The interview guide asks, what is it about the creative process that you find most rewarding? This one feels personal. It is. Share what you love about the journey, about bringing your vision to life. Is it that initial spark of inspiration, the problem solving, the breakthroughs, the satisfaction of seeing it all come together?
Let them see the joy, the passion, the sheer excitement of creating something new.
Exactly. And remember, every artist's process is unique. Don't be afraid to share what makes your creative journey special.
Okay, let's get philosophical for a second. The interview guide asks, what role do you believe performance art plays in contemporary culture?
Ooh, that's a big one. This is your chance to talk about the power of art to, change the world.
Yeah, how it can raise awareness, spark dialogue, challenge norms, inspire action.
Exactly. Give examples of performances that have had a real impact on people or communities, and connect it to your own work, too. How does your art engage with the world around us? How does it contribute to the bigger conversation?
Okay, on to a crucial topic, inclusivity. The interview guide asks, how do you approach performing for audiences from different cultural backgrounds? What steps do you take to ensure that your work is accessible and meaningful to a wide range of viewers?
Performance art is a global art form, and it's important to be mindful of those different perspectives.
Yeah, show them that you're aware of cultural sensitivity and that you're committed to creating a welcoming space for everyone.
Exactly. Talk about the research you do, the consultations you have. How do you make sure your work is respectful and meaningful to a diverse audience?
It's about bridging those cultural divides, creating an experience that speaks to everyone.
And remember, this is an ongoing learning process. We're always learning about different cultures, and it's important to approach it with humility. Okay, time to get real about stage fright.
Yeah.
The interview guide asks, can you describe a time when you experienced stage fright or performance anxiety? How did you manage those feelings, and what did you learn from the experience?
Oh, I think every performer has dealt with that at some point.
It's totally normal, and they're not looking for someone who's never been nervous. They want to know how you cope. So share an example, be honest. What techniques did you use to calm down and focus? What did you learn from that experience?
Turn it into a positive, a story about growth and resilience.
Exactly. And remember, there's no shame in seeking help if you need it. Lots of artists struggle with stage fright, and there are resources available.
Okay, final question. How do you see your artistic practice evolving over the next 5 to 10 years? What are your goals for growth and development as a performance artist?
Time to dream big again. Share your aspirations, your plans for the future. What skills do you want to master? What collaborations do you envision? What kind of work do you hope to create?
Show them that you're ambitious, that you're constantly pushing yourself to grow.
Exactly. And be specific. Talk about the kind of impact you want to make, the audiences you want to reach. Let your passion for performance art shine through.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive. We've tackled those tough interview questions, we've explored career insights from RoleCatcher, and we even touched on the business side of being an artist.
Remember, the same qualities that make you a great player. Performance artist, creativity, adaptability, presence. Those are the same qualities that will help you ace this interview.
Exactly. So before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. How can you push the boundaries of performance art? What unique perspective do you bring? What stories are you burning to tell?
Embrace your individuality, your vision, your potential to make a difference through your art. We believe in you.
Now go out there and create something amazing.
And And we're back. Welcome to the final part of our deep dive into performance art interviews. We've explored all sorts of questions, and now it's time to, tie it all together.
Yeah, let's wrap up with some final nuggets of wisdom. Remember, we were talking about the business side of things. Oh, right, the financial stuff. The interview guide asks, how do you approach the financial aspects of your career as a performance artist? What are your strategies for funding your work, managing your finances, and ensuring the sustainability of your artistic career? I feel like a lot of artists get intimidated by this question.
Yeah, it can be daunting, but they just want to know that you're, thinking about these things.
So it's about being resourceful, right?
Exactly. Talk about your experience with grants, budgeting, fundraising, even, finding multiple streams of income.
Yeah, like teaching workshops, selling merch. Have you ever secured funding for your projects? Do you have a system for managing your money?
Those are all great things to mention. And don't hesitate to talk about any, business skills you've developed. There are tons of resources out there for artists who want to, level up their entrepreneurial game.
Right, like RoleCatcher. They have all sorts of tools and guidance for artists.
Exactly. You're not alone in this. Okay, let's switch gears for a minute. The interview guide asks, what advice would you give to someone who is just starting out in performance art?
Oh, that's a good one. I love this question. It's your chance to be a mentor, to share your wisdom.
Yeah, what do you wish you knew when you were starting out? What tips would you give your younger self?
It also shows that you're, generous and willing to help others, which, goes back to those social skills we talked about.
You got it. Okay, before we wrap up, I want to emphasize one more time. Be yourself in that interview. Be genuine, be enthusiastic, let your personality shine through.
And don't forget about RoleCatcher's AI. It can help you prepare for those tough questions,
Yeah.
tailor your answers, and, just generally boost your confidence.
Absolutely. It's like having a personal coach in your pocket. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about specific interview questions, we've looked at the bigger picture of a career in performance art, and we've even touched on some practical stuff like finances and business skills.
So as we say goodbye, remember this. You are a unique and talented artist. You have something special to offer the world.
Embrace your creativity, your vision, your voice.
And go out there and make some art.